the necessity for keeping yourself looking fresh and real, I think, is here to stay, because people have had it with all the phony stuff, except that it's not reality that they're watching.
Yeah, it's very scripted. It's hard though, you know, everything's scripted. I mean, in a way, I mean, everything people post on Facebook, all the good stuff, everything that everybody's posting, nobody's posting. And if they do post how miserable they are, then you're critiquing them, you know, like why are you sharing that? You know what I mean? So you can't
Many
win.
times these reality people have ISBs in their ears,
Uh-huh.
so that they are taking direction
It's
as
kind
to
of like
what.
broadcast news, the old
Oh,
movie.
right, right. You can all, even
That's
the
a great movie, by the way.
broadcasters now, well, they don't try to hide what they have in their ears and that little
Uh-huh.
uh, coil that's dripping from their ears in the
Uh-huh.
back. Sometimes the women have hair enough to cover it, but people just let it all hang out. So,
I've watched some of them when I've been on live television. And you know, most of them have teleprompters, obviously, but some of them can really, like, if somebody's talking in my ear, I would have a very hard time saying the same thing that they're saying as I'm hearing it. So it does take some skill.
oh, it takes practice to do that. I mean, they're
Yeah.
telling you, well, ask this question, ask that question if they're interviewing, and you wonder how many of these newscasters are on the ball to ask their own questions that they thought up as a result of the interaction they're having at that moment.
Well, that's like William Hurt's character exactly in broadcast news. That's the best movie. I loved it at the time.
I loved it. Yeah, I think
It's
that's
really good. You should watch that one if you haven't watched it. For those that are listening, it was great, but it does show you that the non-reality of some of it, you know, of what you think you're seeing isn't really what it is. And, you know, that was one of the things when I first started doing this, I got to meet some of my heroes, you know, and they always say never meet your heroes and that you'll always be disappointed. And it's really interesting to meet people who you've kind of thought were this or that. And then you meet not the celebrity, just the actual person, you know, and I mean, there's some really great famous people I've interviewed, and one of my favorites died this week, Albert Bandura, who
yeah,
the greatest psychologist from Stanford, was
right.
95. And but you know, he really was just a wonderful human being, and a lot of people I've had on my show, they've all been wonderful, but you just see the reality of what it is in Hollywood when you get even just into radio and some of the stuff that I'm just going to the red carpet stuff in Hollywood, and everything's so small, and it's just a regular people just, but we've blown everything up into like something that it isn't. So you can see why people have a hard time living that life in the public eye, because you have to kind of be something you're not really. You're somebody else's perception of what they think you are.
I was coaching an actor to sell his book, to be on television. He was promoting it at this time. And I said, just be yourself. And he turned to me and he said, which self should I be?
Yeah. I
So this, I think that many of the actors believe their roles as reality, and they have a tough time. Some of them have a tough time separating the fantasy from the reality, and you wonder why people decide to become actors to begin with. Is it as a form of escape to play somebody else rather than yourself? Is it a form of trying to find the depths of somebody else's soul? I mean, this it's very interesting
That
to
is interesting.
analyze
I remember
these
sitting
people.
next to Tom Selleck on an airplane for 5 hours on the way to Hawaii. I talked the poor guy's ear off. I remember it was pretty. I just had my youngest child. It's been a while, and I just it was interesting to me because I was expecting him to be really super funny and all the stuff that they write into the role. He's just a normal guy, you know. You're just talking to him, and I think it would be the people who end up being, especially the comedian personalities, tend to be much more serious than you
They
expect.
they are serious and they have depths of sorrow very
Yeah,
often,
yeah.
and they come across as so. And yeah.
That's the acting that they really get and the one thing that you hear a lot of people doing when they're speakers to get better is some of them are either taking acting, and most of them say they take improv courses to just get them lightened up and to know how to go to the next thing. I think it would be fun to do an open mic, try it and get used to bombing, just saying really stupid things to see if you can get people to laugh. And if
Oh, I've done that already on live television. I don't want to return to that.
I just couldn't stay up late enough to get a live audience. That's the problem. But it would be fun to me. The improv was fun.
What I have found being on camera for so many years is that everything you think is horrendous that you said comes out entirely different.
Yeah, I agree with you. I go, oh, that must be awful.
Say,
That
oh no, I said that. How could I have said that? Oh, how stupid of me. And then all of a sudden you see the outtake and you say, that wasn't so bad.
I've had so many times that I thought that is the worst thing I've ever, I used to have to do like sales presentations as a contest, and I'd just be mortified. And then I'd end up winning a contest and I was the best one, thinking I was awful. Or I would think that, I don't know, you're your worst critic. Sometimes you think that what you said was a certain way, but then I did another video where I over the top was dramatically stupid on purpose. And I watched that and I thought, oh, that kind of looked better than I thought. So you
don't know.
Yeah, you have to watch things on video to see how they come across.
In this one and only acting course that I had taken, they had us sell a detergent. Now, I am the most domestic thing I have ever done was being born in this country. I am not ever domestic. And I said, oh, the detergent, what am I going to do? And I don't know what I said or how I said it, but I won this contest. So I had to deliver this.
That's great.
Success. And I said, no, we were not on video. I would have loved to have seen that playback.
Don't you love just watch them back and you just go, oh, they used to videotape us in pharmaceutical sales, we used to have to do these fake presentations to fake doctors. And it was just mortifying. And I can remember a couple real idiot boss leader people, whatever they were back in the day. And they would just like say, look at how she flubbed that. And not to me, but to some people they would do that. My boss was nice, but to the other people who had these horrible bosses, they would just lambast them, you know what I mean? But it was a really skin thickening thing that was probably good for me. Probably.
Well, I think we all need a dose of that, because we become, thanks to Twitter and TikTok and all these videos that we're on, we become so self-conscious about all of this.
Yeah.
And body dysmorphic disorder occurs as a result of people saying, why don't I look like this or this or this? A young girl said to me, I know I'm pretty, but I don't look like the magazine covers of any of those pretty girls. And I had to tell her, magazine covers don't look like those so-called pretty girls, because either they're computer generated or heavily photoshopped. And when you see these models, I've worked with models in some of the spokespersons jobs that I've had, and you see them in person and you say, this is a model? Oh my God.
Usually they're quite plain, aren't they? A lot of them.
They're very, very plain. Mm-hmm. However, it is a matter of how their bone structure appears on camera.